Coming up on International Trade Focus, we delve into the challenges and triumphs of women in international trade. We'll explore the barriers they face and the breakthroughs they've achieved. Plus, an exclusive interview with Gncci-Way, Head of Marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, on institutional support for women entrepreneurs.
Hi there, you're watching International Trade Focus. My name is Anna Skio. On this week's episode, we delve into the landscape of female entrepreneurship in Ghana, the challenges and opportunities available to women in trade, and how institutions such as the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry are working to bridge the gap. We'll also hear from women who are making strides in the trade sector, including a female entrepreneur whose journey offers insight into the realities of doing business in Ghana. Stay tuned. This episode promises to be insightful and educative as usual. Don't go away. To gain further insight into the role of business institutions in empowering women in trade, I sat down with Gncci-Way. She's the head of marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She shares how the Gncci is supporting female entrepreneurs and the broader impact of women's participation in trade. On today's episode of International Trade Focus, we are exploring women in international trade and the role that the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gncci, plays in supporting female entrepreneurs here in Ghana. Now, with the onset of the women's wing of the Gncci, we know that there's renewed focus on helping women to leverage on international and local opportunities. Today, we've been joined by the head of marketing, Mrs. Gncci-Way. We came to have a conversation to find out, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the role that it plays in supporting female entrepreneurs here in Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. The Gncci has established a women's wing. What motivated this, and why did you think that it was important to perhaps set up a women's wing?
Well, before I go on to why, I would want to just give a short preamble. Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gncci, was established by Parliament to basically be the advocate for the private sector, to liaise with policymakers to ensure that private sector gets a congenial atmosphere to do business. Aside that, we also build capacity, we provide networking opportunities for businesses and many other functions. Since its inception, Gncci have been deliberate about women and women entrepreneurs. We haven't forgotten about where we have come from and the limitations that had been on women per our cultural values and cultural, if you like, cultural stereotyping. So from the onset, we've been conscious about women entrepreneurs and being deliberate about them. But more importantly, it was officially launched, and the launch included that of youth. So we have Gncci-Way, Gncci Women and Youth Wing. So it was officially outdone. We were doing it without really making it quite official. So we decided on the 30th of January, we decided to launch it officially, and we were privileged to have the new Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry to grace the occasion for us. Why, as I have already said, now I'm going to your question. Gncci-Way, because we all know the challenges that women face, and I don't want to preempt what you would want to ask me. There's a need for deliberate action to ensure that women entrepreneurs are given the attention they need, especially, as I said, looking at the cultural background and how women had in the past been limited and societal stereotyping and confining them to certain rules and not allowing them to come up with all that the potentials that they had in them. We have made a lot of progress, but GNCC-I believe that more needs to be done to ensure that women entrepreneurs achieve their full potential and maximize all the opportunities that are available.
I want to find out the key programs or the key initiatives that have been outlined, as part of the Women and Youth Wing to specifically support women entrepreneurs or women who are in business here in Ghana.
The objective or our goal is to ensure that women access to funding. We see how we can liaise with relevant authorities to ensure that women access to funding is made a little more easy for women entrepreneurs. We are looking at building capacity. Women need a lot of capacity, personal capacity and also institutional capacity to be able to grow their businesses. We are looking at activities in that area. And then we are looking at women in international trade, as you said, women in export. GNCC-I, since the launch of the African Continental Free Trade Area, has trained women entrepreneurs, prospective women exporters and exporters across the country. We've done sensitization workshops for them. We've done training for them, and with the support of GIZ, some of them had been even helped with certain tools, some of them small machines, others helping them to get the needed certifications for their products. So we've been doing this. Going forward, we are looking at even more sensitization on the AFCFTA protocol on women and youth. It has been signed, and our women need to understand what the protocol provides for them so they'll be able to take full advantage of that. On that protocol, we also hope to engage policymakers to ensure that all the policy structures that Ghana needs to put in place for women entrepreneurs in Ghana to be able to be competitive in the international market, or if you like, the African market. We engage policymakers, so we have policy dialogue. We are looking at, beyond that, we are also looking at market access. Of course, there are a few of the African countries that are open for the AFCFTA trading, but our women are already trading in their own small way across the globe. So we are looking at opportunities for networking. We are looking at, even though the GNCC-I, we are members of the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are also members of the West African Chamber of Commerce, so we are already networked. But we are moving into another level where deliberately we are engaging these chambers of commerce across the African country to ensure that our women really get to trade with their counterparts in the other parts of the African continent. It's one of the key activities that we are looking forward to do this year, and plans are far advanced in ensuring that we get this. We are still talking to development partners to help us. There are a lot of our women who are doing so much, considering the cost of doing business and all that, and they need to be helped to access markets for their products and their services, if you like. So these are some of them. We have capacity building programs lined up. We don't have time to go into the details, but we have a lot of programs packed. In fact, on the 10th of March, we are in collaboration with GIZ Trade Hub. We are celebrating the International Women's Day in another level, with a focus for our women on how to access available funds.
And we'll definitely be there. Now, talking about how to access available funds, this is a challenge that cuts across all industries here in Ghana, and whether it's a female-led industry, whether it's a, genderless, regardless of the gender of the leader of the industry. And so it is of specific concern to me. I want to find out, you briefly touched on it, right? But then I want to find out the specific assistance that you perhaps like give to females, particularly in international trade when it comes to access to funding. You mentioned the capacity building, which I believe is amazing because there are some people who have the talent already, some people who are in the industry, on the various industries, and they are doing the various products, offering the various services. But then they definitely need some, skill acquisition to add on to the skill that they already have. So the capacity building aspect is amazing. When it comes to access to funding, we all know how important that is. So what are some specific, handheld, may I say, assistance that you're giving to female entrepreneurs?
To be able to access funding, there's one hurdle apart from the general problems that we see. It's the readiness of our people in terms of the records, what to show for it, even if it is a grant, even if it is an angel investor, they would want to know the viability of the business. And this is mostly or largely determined by the books. And one of the challenges we have for our small businesses, especially our women, is proper records keeping, if you like, bookkeeping. And it's one of the things we want to do. We are not going to just have workshop and talk to them about how to keep your books, but we are practically going to get the tools for them to be able to keep their books. In fact, in one of the workshops that we are planning, we are going to have a practical section where our women will bring any information, any written expenditure or income, any records they have that is scattered, and we are going to help them put them together in a simple form that they can continue to keep their records. Because if even there's fund, then you are not able to do that, it will be difficult for you to assess it. Like I said, Gncci does not provide funding, but we also provide information on where they can get funding, and where necessary, we help them to go through the processes. One of the challenges that we have is the ability to go through the rigorous processes of applying for some of these funds to the end. And this is why we want to use the International Women's Day. We are doing it with GIZ, and we are bringing some selected financial institutions. Some already have their products planned for them, so that from there they are signed on to. We have also been liaising with GEA, with some of the government grants. When they come, we provide information. We have offices across the country, so our members who are not in Accra, or those who are in other parts and are interested, are assisted by our regional offices to apply to get these funding. This year, we are really hoping that, like you said, the capacity building is not just talking to them and all that, but for those who cooperate and be able to do, or those who have already gone through the process and they have their proper books and all that, we are focused on looking for opportunities where they can actually get funding. I don't want to mention any particular bank, but we have been in talked with some of the banks, and some of them have some good rates for our women, which we are encouraging them to access to be able to do that. Aside that, we also want to encourage them to practice good corporate governance, so that it's not every time that you want to look for a loan or something there. There are certain systemic or operational structures that if you observe and you keep the proper records and do the right thing, you'll be able to grow organically. You'll be able to save some money to be able to plow back into your business. Women, the way sometimes we take on ourselves a lot of burdens. I was talking to an expert from ODI, and I said that when in a family, the man will budget for what he wants to spend on ahead of time. Sometimes when we see the need, we just want to meet it, and sometimes it affects our businesses. So we want to sensitize our women on how to ensure financial discipline so that they'll be able to grow their businesses both from within and if need be, look for loans or other sources of funding from outside.
On this week's episode, we're taking a look at women in international trade here in Ghana, the challenges that they face, the prospects, and many more. We are watching our in-depth segment. We're having a conversation with Grace Jable. She's the head of marketing, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The conversation returns after this break. Don't go away. A warm welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching International Trade Figures. On this week's episode, we're taking a look at women in international trade, and we're having a conversation on our in-depth segment with the head of marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the role that her outfit plays in supporting women entrepreneurs here in Ghana.
You're doing amazing work. I'm really impressed. And these conversations are necessary, and everything that you're doing is a step in the right direction, because you know that there's data that speaks to the fact that Africa's entrepreneurship drive is on the rise, and females constitute a large number.
Very significant.
Very significant number. So in Ghana, we are contributing. Gncci-Way is contributing your quota by, providing a platform where female entrepreneurs can, even be better in order to compete. We talked briefly on the African Continental Free Trade Area. So how are you preparing our ladies in order to take advantage of the opportunities that it brings?
Everywhere I have spoken on behalf of the chamber, as far as the AFCFTA is concerned, I've always advocated and pleaded with our government to take AFCFTA as a World Cup. I always say that it is the African market, and we are talking about one Africa. But within that one Africa market, every country would want to cut the biggest cake of the larger cake. So as Ghana is always ready and one of the leading state parties as far as the AFCFTA is concerned, what we are doing to ensure that women are prepared, we advocate, we have been in meetings and discussions with policymakers on ensuring that the structures are put in place for women. We are glad to know, and when we hosted the Honorable Minister, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, when we launched the Gncci-Way, she emphasized on the establishment of the Women Development Bank, which we believe will help to a large extent provide the needed funds for our women who are export ready for the African Continental Free Trade Area. So in the area of policy, we are engaging policymakers. The chamber is on the various committees. We are at various dialogues trying to ensure that we contribute to the building of the structures for the AFCFTA, especially with regards to the protocol on women and youth. Aside that, Gncci trained, if I say, over 5,000 entrepreneurs in Ghana with support from GIZ across the country. And we took specific interest in women. Aside the general sensitization and the workshop, we also went around the country to train women, to sensitize them about how to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. It tells you the importance we place. We believe that even though we had the general workshops and sensitization, which included both women and men, we also believe that women needed to be given a particular attention. So we did another one specifically for women. Like I told you, we are in touch with the development partner, some of them, to ensure that we bring the opportunities within the protocol on women and youth to the doorstep of our women. And we are also, like I said, we have already started discussions on getting access to their products for them. So we are looking at market access. We are looking at helping them to participate in trade fairs. We are looking at networking, linking them with other businesses in other African countries. Aside the capacity that we are doing internally, we have discussions on how to even help them to ensure that those who need the proper standardization and the certification for their products, they are assisted to do that so that their products can easily be accepted in the other African markets. So these are some of the things that we are specifically doing, and we are not relenting at all.
When you mentioned trade fair, it brought my mind to something. Because of the program that I'm doing, I've had the opportunity to attend a lot of international trade fairs where Ghana is present, we exhibit and all of that. You see a lot of women exhibitors in there. But one thing that I have realized or noted is the product diversification. It's usually the same old, the beads, the clothes, the cosmetics, which is amazing. But then there are other areas that we could also explore. So when it comes to the members, your female members, are you seeing a trend where products are being diversified, or we still have the same old, same old?
I see it as a strength. What we try to talk to our women about, and we have a program we call Interregional B2B. One of the focus of that program is to ensure that our members are able to take advantage of the value chain and also be able to build synergies. Where we have the strength in, say, agro-processing, where you have a lot of our women in that, it's a strength. It means that if we are able to build them up, they will be able to pull resources together and meet a certain demand, because international market is not just about sending one container of products to your target market. It is about your consistency and your ability to deliver on time. Right. And that means that you must have what it takes to produce in the quantities that are required, and then you have the needed raw materials. What you see is that we have those raw materials that we can produce. What we need to do is to teach the culture of building synergies, teach the culture of pulling resources together, so that when you have a demand for, say, a particular product, and you have so many of our women doing that in bits, they can be put together and then meet that need. In that way, we can be able to have a niche for ourselves where we have competitive advantage. It is very important for us, as far as AFCFTA is concerned, not to be seen to be competing amongst ourselves in Africa. So, for instance, if I want to export to Kenya, I must be sure what Kenyans don't have, or what advantage I have over what is in Kenya. Then I fill in the gap. And if Ghana sees that this is the area we have advantage, comparative advantage, then we need to help our women even to grow those areas and be able to become giants in the African market. So even though there are few of them who are into other areas that are not so familiar with, we went for, during our workshops on the African Continental Free Trade Area in Takwa, there's a certain woman who is into green business, and she's doing recycling of this plantain. After it is harvested, everything that is left, she's making bags out of them. There are women who are doing so many things because they are not in the majority, they are not there. But we are looking at bringing all of them out and making sure that they are helped, because in one of our programs, we are looking at the women who are in science, who are in engineering, who are in some of these unfamiliar territories as far as women are concerned. We want to also focus on those areas and help them to access the needed resources to be able to compete in their own right. So I would say that don't worry about the homogeneity of the things you see. It is in another way a strength that we need to build. Somebody is doing something that has to do with ginger. Another person is doing another thing that has to do with ginger. It means that we need to look for markets for that product and then bring them together to be able to satisfy that demand.
We also acknowledge the role that the media plays. So certain interviews like this would, throw more light on the activities that the GNCCI is doing as far as women entrepreneurs are concerned. So we can leverage the international and local market. So if somebody, a female entrepreneur to be specific, wants to sign on or wants to get in touch and benefit from all of these initiatives that you have in place, how are they able to get in touch? Not contact wise, but in terms of registration and all of that.
Okay, so the chamber is represented in 8 locations in Ghana. So we have an office in Kumasi that takes care of the Ashanti region and the Bron area. We have an office in Wa that takes care of the northern part. We have an office in Tema. Okay. We have one in Koforidua for Eastern. We have Takoradi and Takwa for the Western. We have an office in Accra. Aside that, our website is also available for women entrepreneurs that want to be link up with the chamber to go there and get access to us. We are always available. You just have to be a member of the chamber. You have to have formalized your business. You have to have registered your business with this Office of the Registrar of Companies. However, if you are a woman listening to me, a woman entrepreneur, and you have not even yet registered your business, you can get in touch with us, our offices that I have mentioned, or our website, and we can help you to formalize your business or to register your business so that you can also benefit from the opportunities that come. When the business is not formalized, the opportunity to grow is quite limited. So we encourage as many as possible to register their businesses with the Office of the Registrar of Companies, and then we help them to grow their businesses.
Thank you so much. And that was Mrs. Grace Jable. She is the head of marketing GNCCI and our guest for today. We had a conversation on the role that her outfit plays in ensuring that women entrepreneurs here in Ghana are able to leverage both local and international opportunities. Don't go away.
And it's a wrap for this week's episode. Join us same time next week for some more on international trade-related activities here in Ghana and beyond. My name is Anna Spew. Bye-bye.